How's it going, Jeremians? In today's video, I will be telling you 23 differences between Yamaha's most affordable PSR-E series keyboard, starting with the PSR-E273 here. We have the PSR-E373 here, as well as the PSR-E463 here, which is the flagship of the PSR-E series. Let's start with the first big difference between these three keyboards. So the PSR-E273, being the most affordable, has fixed velocity keys. So no matter how hard or how gently you hit the keys, it will not affect the sound. Whereas the E373 and the E463 has 4 levels of touch sensitivity. Depending whether you hit it softly or hard, it will produce a different tone. Let's play a couple of notes on these three keyboards so you can hear how the default piano sound like. It's not that bad, but it is not as expressive. And now for the PSR-E463 here. If you're looking for a keyboard or digital piano, you can check out the links in my description where I have a list of my recommended digital pianos and keyboards which I use with my students, as well as online courses that you can learn with. The next big difference is the LED screen. On the PSR-E273, you get an LED screen which is not backlit. If you look at the LED screen between the PSR-E273 and the PSR-E373, they are pretty much almost identical. The difference is that the LED screen on the E373 is backlit and is so much easier to see when lighting conditions are not ideal. On the PSR-E463, you get a much larger LCD screen which displays significantly more information as well. The next difference is on the PSR-E273, you get 401 voices, whereas on the new Yamaha PSR-E373, you get 622 voices. And that is quite a significant increase in the number of voices, literally 50% more than those found on the E463. On the PSR-E463, you get 758 voices. Quite a bit more, but not as much of an increase compared to that of the PSR-E373 over the PSR-E273. The next difference is that the Yamaha PSR-E373, being the newest keyboard in this lineup, has the new super articulation light technology, and it comes with 11 super articulation voices, whereas these two other keyboards do not have super articulation light technology. Let's have a listen to how a nylon guitar sounds like on these three keyboards, and you can hear the difference that the super articulation light technology does. Not very expressive because it's fixed velocity. And here on the PSR-E463, even though it is the most expensive, it does not yet have the super articulation light technology. Compared to the PSR-E373 over here. And when I step on my pedal, you can hear that's the harmonics that comes with the super articulation light technology. It is significantly more expressive. If you're finding this video useful, do take a second to smash that like button so that the YouTube algorithm will recommend it to a larger audience. What is an arranger keyboard if we don't talk about styles? So the PSR-E273, being the most affordable, has 143 different styles over here. The The PSR-E373 has 205 styles. The PSR-E463, being the flagship here, has 235 styles. Now the question is, with all the new technology in the PSR-E373 as well as the better sound samples on the E463, does the exact same style on all three keyboards sound the same? Let's have a listen and you tell me in the comment section which one sounds better. So it will be the exact same style at the same tempo. And now on the PSR-E373. Now let's listen to the PSR-E463. This costs twice as much as the E273. The next difference between these keyboards is the PSR-E463 has a groove creator with 35 patterns. The groove creator allows you to chain up different sections of a pattern so that you can be like a DJ in a club. Let me show you an example of this. There you go. So it allows you to be like a DJ just by pressing buttons, and you don't really need a lot of musical skills, and that can be something that's pretty fun for someone who doesn't really know how to play yet. The next feature found on the PSR-E463 is the quick sampling feature, and that is not found on the other two keyboards. This allows you to basically load your own samples that you download from the internet and trigger them on this keyboard. It can also be you singing a phrase, or you shouting some words, or your dog barking, or a baby crying. Literally any sound can be loaded onto this sample and they can be mapped across the keyboard. Let me show you what I mean. So a voice has already been mapped onto these keys by Yamaha. There you go, a pretty fun thing for you to load your samples and explore creative possibilities with your keyboard. The next difference between these keyboards is the polyphony. Polyphony is the number of notes that will sound before the earlier notes drop off. And this PSR-E273 has a polyphony of just 32 notes, whereas these two keyboards here, the E373 and the 463, has polyphony of 48 notes. You might wonder, I have just 10 fingers, why do I need polyphony of more than 32 notes? You have to understand that as you sustain the notes using a sustain pedal, so the notes are cumulative and they add up as the sound is ringing in the background. You also do not want to forget that the styles and the rhythms as well as the auto accompaniment also do take up the note polyphony, and that doesn't leave you with very much, especially if it comes to a very rich and large accompaniment. The next difference with this keyboard is the PSR-E273 does not have a dual voice function. You can only play one voice at a time and you cannot layer them. Although you can use some preset layered voices that Yamaha has provided within the keyboard, but it is definitely not as flexible as on the PSR-E373, where you can pretty much layer any two voices you want. This is without the layer. This is with a layer. Same thing on the PSR-E463. This is without any layering. This is with the layers. The next feature that is different between these three keyboards is the PSR-E273 doesn't allow you to split the keyboards into two parts with one voice on the left side and one voice on the right side. Whereas on the E373 and the PSR-E463, you can have two voices, one on each side of the keyboard. The number of effects on these keyboards are also different. The PSR-E273 only comes with 20 different reverbs and chorus effects that you can use to thicken up and personalize your sounds. Whereas on these two keyboards here, the E373 and the E463, you have 3 additional reverbs and choruses that you can apply to the sounds on this keyboard. The next difference is that on the E273, you don't get a harmony function. Whereas on these two keyboards, you get 26 different harmony patterns. What a harmony pattern does is that it will thicken up the notes on your right-hand melody based on the chords that you input on the left-hand side of your keyboard when you're playing in the accompaniment mode. And for those who like a little bit of electronic dance music or want to use an arpeggiator to help them out in their playing, the PSR-E273 doesn't come with a built-in arpeggiator, whereas these two keyboards here come with a 150 pattern arpeggiator. Now the biggest selling point on this latest PSR-E373 is the DSP. There is a whopping 38 new DSP effects found on the PSR-E373, which was previously not found on the previous model, the E363. The E373 has no DSP effects, and even this flagship PSR-E463, which costs more than this E373, and this has only 10 DSP effects compared to the E373. And DSP effects makes a massive amount of difference in the sound. So this is a sound of an organ without a DSP effects. Sounds just pretty normal. Whereas this has a little tremolo as well as overdriven DSP effect to it. You can hear that gritty sound. The PSR-E273, being the cheapest keyboard, does not come with a pitch bend wheel, and the PSR-E373 also does not come with any pitch bend wheel. The PSR-E463, on the other hand, comes with a nice little pitch bend wheel for you to bend your synth sounds or to be more expressive with your acoustic instrument. The next difference on the PSR-E463 are these live control knobs that allow you to configure it to control any of these parameters in real time as you are playing. So these two live control knobs are not available on the PSR-E373 as well as the PSR-E273. So on the PSR-E273, there's no way to save your user voice settings. After you tweak the voices to your liking, you are not able to save it in any way once you turn off the keyboard and you switch it to another sound. All your settings will be lost. On the PSR-E373, you get 9 slots to save your user settings for quick and easy recall. The PSR-E463, being the most expensive, allows you to save up to 32 registration memory. You might only see 4 buttons here, but there are actually 8 banks here, so 8 times 4 will give you 32 registration memory. So you might want to record your performances to show your friends or for your later enjoyment, and on the PSR-E273 you get a single track, single song recorder. You cannot record more than 1 song at a time, and you have to record it all at one go. The PSR-E373, on the other hand, allows you to record up to 5 songs, and each song can contain up to 2 tracks. The PSR-E463, being the most expensive, allows you to save up to 10 user songs within the memory itself, and each song can contain up to 6 tracks. Let's look at the speaker system. On the PSR-E273, you get a pair of 2.5 watt speakers, and this is encased in a hard plastic speaker grill. On the PSR-E373, even though you're paying more, you're essentially getting the same amplification. It is still 2.5 watts of amplification, but there is now a fabric cover. I don't really like this as it's usually prone to pet fur, and is a lot more easily damaged compared to a hard plastic speaker grill. On the PSR-E463, you get a massive upgrade. You get a pair of 6 watts amplified speakers, and they are protected by a metal speaker grill. Next, let's talk about the USB MIDI functionality. So the PSR-E273 here has no USB MIDI functionality, whereas the PSR-E373 has MIDI functionality via USB. Not only does the USB port transmits and receives MIDI, it is also an audio interface for you to connect directly to your mobile devices or your DAW and send digital audio to and from your keyboard and the device. And this is not a feature you can find on the PSR-E273. On the PSR-E463, you can directly record audio into a USB stick drive, which you can then load onto your computer or share with your friends very easily. And you don't even need a DAW to record digital audio. This is a feature you don't find on the PSR-E373 or the PSR-E273. Now let's talk about the weight of this keyboard. This is the lightest keyboard in this lineup. This is just 4 kilos. But for a mere 600 grams more, you get the PSR-E373, which is significantly more powerful and has significantly more features. The PSR-E463 here, however, is the heaviest at 6.6 kilos. It is the least portable in terms of weight between these 3 keyboards. If you didn't realize by now, all these 3 keyboards can accept a sustained pedal input as well as an auxiliary audio input, and you can use headphones with all these 3 keyboards. All these 3 keyboards can also be powered via a wall socket as well as running these off 6 AA batteries. Here is a little bonus for you. So Yamaha actually produces the PSR-E373 in a 76 keys version, and this 76 keys version costs a little bit more but gives you a couple more keys in case you want to play more serious classical music. You can also find the exact same PSR-373 in a key lighting system, and that is the EZ300, which I've done a review. You can search for it on my channel. And it is exactly the same as the E373, except that it has a key lighting feature and it comes in a white chassis and comes with extra lessons within the keyboard because it is meant to be a learning keyboard. As for the PSR-E463, Yamaha produces a more professional EW310, which is based off the E463. It has pretty much the identical number of sounds as the E463, but it has a better piano sound sample. It also comes with dedicated 1/4-inch stereo outputs for those who are performing and want to connect to a PA system. And as for the sample zones, you can record 7 samples versus the 5 samples found on the E463. The speakers on the EW310, which I have also reviewed, is significantly more powerful than those on the E463. It is actually a pair of 12-watt speakers. I hope this video is useful in helping to clarify and demystify the differences between these 3 keyboards and help you make a better buying choice to begin on your musical journey. My name is Jeremy C, and I'll see you soon.